could have, would have, should have is the difference of what I'm talking about. The good teams don't come in and say could have. They get it done.
Good afternoon. You're listening to WQKE LP 93.9 FM out of Plattsburgh, New York. This is your 3 o'clock sports report with Desmond and Liam. Desmond, how's it going today?
It's all right. Not bad.
Not bad. So basically, Desmond and I had a big video project to do today, and we got parts of it done, but it took a lot of energy out of us. But we're still here providing some sports content for you guys. Start as we always do. Twinning attire. Today's pretty simple. It's sports hoodies would be a good way to put it. For me, I'm wearing a University of Vermont basketball hoodie, Division I school.
Yeah, I'm wearing just my Giants hoodie that I usually wear around.
Well, no, it's funny too because you're always wearing Giants and Knicks gear, and every time I talk to you, you despise the Giants and Knicks.
Oh yeah, that's just the way the cookie
crumbles. There we go.
Ooh. It's a long show.
Keep in mind, we've been still uploading these on Twitter and
that's where we usually post updates. Like yesterday, we didn't have a show, or
Wednesday we didn't have a show.
Wow, I'm out of it. Wednesday we didn't have a show because I had a sore throat, very bad. I'm still kind of dealing with that right now.
He's on the IR.
Yeah, I've been having a rough go at it the last couple of days, but
we're still here.
Still here. We'll have our show online ready for Wednesday, and then Saturday we'll be back to our normal schedule. I don't like missing shows very often, but
yeah, neither do I.
I could not speak on
I got the text in the morning. I'm like, let's just call it. We both got stuff going on. So we're gonna start. We've been talking about a little more about collegiate sports. Let's start with the bad, then we'll get to the good. So the bad is I think we may have mentioned it on the show, I believe, but the Plattsburgh men's hockey team played in the playoffs, taking on the 6th seed SUNY Brockport Golden Eagles, and it was a really, really good hockey game if you were a hockey fan at all. I know Desmond enjoyed it. I saw Desmond giving the other team a lot of
it wasn't as much as
mouthy.
Usual, but it was mostly because my sore throat. I still am not feeling very well, and the whole section that I was in was very loud, and I like the energy a lot because usually it's just me and a couple other people yelling, but to get a whole section going crazy that way, I didn't really have to get that loud. Very nice.
The field house, or the Ronald B. Staffrice Arena, is one of the better Division III facilities for hockey in the entire country. From what I know, there's a lot of seating in there, and we had like 2 student sections, which was a good. We had the one you were sitting in, which was more like the athletics student section. I know like the men's lacrosse team was there and stuff like that, and then the other one was more the just general student section. So it was pretty cool seeing it. It was the most people I've ever seen in there for sure. They lifted, and I've seen a lot of like high school games that they pulled pretty big crowds, but the results on the ice were very interesting. I know Desmond was not very happy.
I mean, it was a good game, and that's what I said before. I'm like, it doesn't really matter who wins or loses. I just want a really good game,
and it was a great game.
Without a doubt, that's what that was. It just didn't end in the way that people wanted it.
So we'll kind of go over what happened. It was 2-1 at the end of the first, in Brockport's favor. It was a good period. Connor Galloway is his name. Ended up scoring 2 in that period. And he played well. Cards got on the board once. They at the end of the period, there was a little bit of a controversial play where there was a shove at the end of the period, kind of. So Plattsburgh started on the penalty kill. Brockport converted on the power play, making it 3-1. Then Plattsburgh's offense went sicko mode, would be a good way to put it. Scored 5 straight. One of them was a penalty shot goal. First penalty shot I've ever seen in Division III hockey.
Yeah, same.
And a really nice penalty shot goal.
I didn't even know that they had those in Division III.
Yeah, I didn't either. Luckily, my color commentator knew. But, so essentially, a penalty shot's only called when you have, if they're essentially...
It looked like he kind of got tripped on the way to...
Yeah, it was a hook ended up being the call. And essentially, if you're going to the goal, and on a breakaway is usually when they call them like that. So it was it was Thomas Maya, and it was a really, really, really nice penalty shot goal. He waited. Goalie went down, went 5-hole.
Yeah, just kind of swapped it around him. He dove to the ground, then he just kind of flipped it around and tossed it.
Yeah, it was. I think it ended up going 5-hole, which was cool. But he never that's on the penalty shot. I think a lot of people rush it, especially if you watch shootouts sometimes in the NHL, it is painful how it's kind of I think it messes with the players' heads because it's 1-on-1, whatever. But he just he knew he had time. He just waited. Goalie went down, scored the goal. So whatever. So at the end of 2, I believe we were winning 6-3. I think. Then it all kind of fell apart. Coming out of the third, all Plattsburgh had to do was just hold the lead. Brockport scored one at, I think, pretty early on, I would say within the first 5 minutes, and then they pulled the goalie extra attacker on. There was a one-timer from the point. I think his name was Hora, was his last name. It was a really nice shot. Went 5-hole, I think, again. It was a lower shot. Finds the back of the net, 6-5. And then, literally like 20 seconds later, I don't even think the goalie was on the bench yet. Connor Galloway, who had already scored 2, was standing wide open on the to the goalie's right. And he's literally wide open. He receives a pass, and he just takes the wide open wrist shot, top shelf, ties the game, 6-6, heading into overtime. Overtime was a little excruciating to watch because I don't even remember what player, but the goalie again for Brockport, his name's Nolan Egbert, went down again to try to pick up a rebound, and the Cardinals still controlled the puck. So they like the puck finds one of their sticks. He's literally staring at a wide open net. Do you remember this? He's staring at a wide open net. Like before the play, they had been hitting at the rebound, trying to put the rebound in the net. The goalie dives down. Plattsburgh still controls the puck, so they pass it backwards. He's standing at a wide open net, misses over the net. As soon as that happened, I'm like, this is not good. This is not good. A good sign. Brockport goes down and scores about 5 minutes later. It was actually a pretty. What?
It wasn't even 5 minutes. It was really short overtime.
Yeah, it was probably a 10-minute overtime. I would say somewhere around there.
Yeah,
maybe
probably,
7 minutes.
Yeah.
Whatever. It was a weird play by Brockport. It was just a really good hockey goal, I would say. Just put the puck on net, rebound loose, bat the rebound home. Essentially, the goalie kind of had no shot on that one because it was kind of like a rebound that was out of his range. Whatever. So Plattsburgh gets eliminated. SUNY Brockport goes on to play Geneseo, and then Oswego plays Cortland. I think that happens on Wednesday. So I think it's Wednesday. So that's something to keep an eye on. SUNYAC playoffs. Definitely disappointing as not only the Cardinals announcer, as a member of the college, but at least it was a good game and it was a good way to go out. I wouldn't want to have been I wouldn't want to have been a senior either.
Nope.
So a lot of the seniors have the extra year they're waiving. There aren't that many though, and then I don't know how long you stayed after the game was over, but once there was a couple players still on the ice, those are the ones who are grad students and aren't coming back. So definitely that was a little sad to see, but overall good game, and it's definitely an unfortunate way to go out, but hey, went out with a fight.
Yeah.
But blowing a 4-goal lead, whatever. So the other good news I would say is that the women tomorrow, if you're listening and near the Plattsburgh area, you should go. It's tomorrow's the Newell, and we believe the first game of the playoffs for the Newell Conference, which is the women's conference. Our women take on Potsdam. It should be I would say, good game, but hopefully Plattsburgh can take home the win there. The women are the number 2 or 3 team in the country, waiting on the rankings right now. So definitely would tune into that one. Desmond, you should go.
Yeah, I'll go if I have time. When is it?
7.
Tomorrow?
Yeah.
I'll see.
You should go.
See what I got going on.
You should go. Okay, so there's your collegiate sports. That's your quick update. Let's talk about basketball. It was a good weekend
for other teams. For the Knicks,
it was a very entertaining weekend.
Yeah, I mean, I wish that the Knicks could win a game because I think we've lost 10 out of our last 12 now. But
and Julius Randle's starting to play well too. That's the funny part about it.
He was, but the last 2 games he's been very bad.
Oh, really?
Yeah. It's just him and RJ don't work together. I don't know how, because it seems like they would, like, just on paper. But if one plays good, the other one has to play bad. That's how it goes every single game. And I just don't know what to do anymore. We should have made moves at the deadline. Why we didn't, I don't know. But I also don't know what really Knicks fans expect anymore. Like, I wanted moves to be made. I think everyone thought that at least some moves were going to be made, like Alec Burks or Nerlens Noel getting moved. But when you take that, you don't make any moves. And then you proceed to put Kemba Walker back on the bench, which I don't agree or disagree with. He's not helping, but he's also not... Well, he's definitely hurting us because he's very bad at defense. But it's just Alec Burks is not the player you start. He will never be... The fact that we even have the idea to run him at point guard just shows how interesting of a coach Tom Thibodeau is. And I have my own issues with him. I've written articles about it. I've said it on the air, how much I've disliked him this season, and he's definitely cost the team a lot. His rotations don't make sense. The guys he puts in doesn't make any sense. Like, again, playing Alec Burks at point guard when you have Emmanuel Quickley or Deuce McBride Derrick Rose was set to come back soon, but now he had to get another operation on like a skin infection from his previous operation, which is a whole mess of its own. But right now, I just tank. Just give up.
Start playing young players, which they're not doing. It just still doesn't make sense. So, like, we could sit here and talk about the Knicks all day, but that summarizes their problems the best way possible. Their coaching decisions no longer make any sense.
And the players aren't playing well.
And RJ's did have a godly night the other night.
Yeah, 46 points. That was such a good game to watch. But, yeah, I mean, at this point, like, I don't understand why RJ isn't taking all the shots, why he isn't running the ball up. He's shown an ability to be a solid playmaker several times in the past. I don't understand why.
He doesn't have much to work with either.
I don't understand why we've never made him a primary ball handler because we decide that Alec Burks is a better option for some reason. I just don't know. It really kind of almost defies logic at this point.
Agreed. It doesn't really make any sense. So let's go across the city.
To everyone's favorite, the Brooklyn Nets.
I texted Desmond about it this week because, Desmond's got me on Twitter lately, so I'm trying to keep up what's going on. They have the most annoying fans of any basketball fan base, and it's no longer even close.
Well, you got to remember, you got to put the quotations on the fans because you know that they have not been 90% of them, a large portion of them have not been fans.
Yeah, and Knicks fans are annoying. So I would say that's a little dramatic for me to say that Nets fans are the most annoying fans in the league. There are a lot of annoying fan bases.
There are a lot of bad Knicks fans, but if there's an annoying Knicks fan, there's always a good one. Nets fans, I've probably met 2 decent ones, and I'm around on Twitter. I know Nets fans personally. It's not a fun experience, and even then, the Knicks fans that are annoying are like the people that overreact.
Yeah,
like every team has. Every team has people that overreact. Like the guys that were out after we started off like 5-1, they're outside of the arena flipping out, saying crazy stuff. Like those guys, it can come off as annoying, but like think about how bad we've been the last 8 years.
Mm-hmm.
The last 8 years, we come off making a 4 seed. Yeah, it didn't go like how we wanted it to, of course, but if you come off a 4 seed, you start off 5-1, I'd be out there celebrating. I'd be out there going insane. Most people would in their fan base, especially in a place like New York. That's just what is going to happen. And the fact that people would rather look at that as annoying or as compared to, look at this fan base finally having a good time after suffering for the last 8 years. It's just stupid.
And New York, has just been suffering as a city. Yeah. I'm trying to even think. I think the last championship is the Giants.
Yeah, 2012, 11, whatever you want to call it. But
since then, the Jets have been terrible. The Giants have been terrible. The Islanders were decent until the season. They're terrible. The Rangers are finally turning it around. The Rangers made a cup 5 years ago.
So did the Mets. But even
the Mets made a World Series, but they didn't win that. The Yankees haven't won since 2009.
Yeah, the Yankees.
So that poor city, that city's struggling. And
it's
then
just a waste of a market at this point.
Yeah, and LA and Boston are starting, or Boston's kind of slowed down, but Boston had that reign of terror, where they almost won the Stanley Cup and won the World Series.
Yeah,
didn't they win something else? And the Patriots and the
Patriots and the Celtics. They only ended up winning one, but they were a very dominant team for a while.
Yeah, and then LA now is having their reign of terror. Whoa.
Dodgers, Rams. I don't want to say the Lakers, but they did win a championship.
They did win a chip, yep. We'll talk about the Lakers. We'll get there. But for the Nets, this is the part that makes me most mad. You guys, before the trade deadline, all you wanted was James Harden traded. You were all complaining about him, how he's injury prone, how he doesn't play well, blah, blah, blah. He gets traded to the Nets, and now you're salty. Or 76ers, I'm sorry, and now you're salty.
Yeah, I mean, it's how a lot of fan bases are going to be, especially one like the Nets, who a lot of reasons that the Nets have the fans they do is Harden fans, who went from being a Rockets fan to being a Nets fan. And I know a couple people who are like that, and just to see Harden not pan out, they're going to look to blame other people than Harden, like they've done his entire career, especially at least in elimination games in the playoffs. I'm not going to say playoffs as a whole because, for the most part, he is a very good playoff performer, but in elimination games, it gets a little different. But, I mean, I don't know. Nets are still a very solid team.
Yeah, and they are. And, Simmons still hasn't...
Without Simmons playing.
He hasn't played.
No KD
KD's still out. Kyrie's, for some reason, putting the team on its back lately.
Yeah, he's been playing really good.
Hopefully they're going to pull back the mask or the vaccine stuff. The mayor of New York's being so weird about it, whatever.
I don't know. It's just, you can't, it just doesn't make sense to have it and then 2 months later be like, oh, we're good now.
Or also, how can he sit in the arena What is the difference of him sitting in the arena and being on the court?
Or the whole thing with away players can play, but the whole thing doesn't make any sense. But
no, and it never does. So and I think the mayor of New York is gonna kind of starting to realize that, but whatever.
Yeah.
And then oh, that's annoying. That's so annoying. And they're just annoying the crap out of me because the Harden thing. You guys hated James Harden. Now you're all salty because he's playing well for the 76ers.
Yeah. But
everyone's jumping on that bandwagon.
Yeah,
they've played 2 games.
I said before that they could be the favorites coming out of the East. The only team I can really see stopping them realistically right now is Milwaukee, and it's still that because they have a great defender for Harden and Holiday, a good defender on Embiid, even though Embiid can't really be stopped, and Giannis.
Yeah, but Giannis can't be stopped either.
No,
I think the Bucks. If I had to pick a team to come out of the East, I would still say the Bucks.
The Bucks, 100%.
They're still the reigning champs.
They're still just as good as ever, but just right now. Give it more time. Let Philly play some better teams. And I don't know. I can't remember who they played the first game, but obviously they played the Knicks last night, and that was awful. We'll get into that. But
that was hilarious. Let's get right into that. I don't know if anyone saw the video of Embiid throwing a ball at who even was that?
It was Jericho. So Embiid went to drive in, took 3 steps.
I love Embiid.
Traveled and then threw the ball. Going up for a layup into Jericho Sims' face. Jericho Sims did not make much contact with Embiid, did not do anything, and the foul was called on Sims, and Embiid went to the line for traveling and hitting Sims in the head with the ball. Embiid does get to the line a lot for normal reasons. He doesn't really foul bait. He doesn't flop. He's just a very large man. It's hard to not foul him, especially with the moves he has. But to go to the line, was it 27 times, 25 times in a game?
It had the most fouls in any NBA game ever.
I don't think it's that because I know Harden's taking a ridiculous amount of free throws, but just to sit and watch that happen, that's not basketball, man. I'm always one for if you go to the line a lot, you hit your free throws, good for you. But 20, let me get the exact number.
Yeah, that was an exaggerated stat.
Let's take a look. Hold on.
While we wait for the number, it's just absolutely crazy.
27.
Yeah.
27 free throws to the Knicks 35. So he almost totaled the amount of free throws the Knicks had.
Jesus.
That at that point, something's got to change. I don't know. I don't know what the NBA is doing anymore. They said they were gonna get rid of the foul baiting rules. Not saying Embiid is a foul baiter. He's just
it's not Embiid. That one, I think that one was just a bad call. I wouldn't say it was foul baiting at all.
No.
And like you said, you're driving. You have a big man driving that hard, and you're trying to stand in his way. You're gonna get fouled.
And there's a play before. I don't know the exact rules on this. It might be a foul, might not be a foul, but. Harden was driving to the rim with Embiid behind him. RJ was standing in the paint waiting to pick up one of them. Harden threw it behind him and then ran into RJ and pushed him out of bounds for an Embiid wide-open dunk. Now, I'm no genius, but I feel like that even if it is legal, I feel like that shouldn't be. Because at that point, that's in a moving screen. That is an illegal screen. Because that's what the announcer said. They were going over some of the highlights, and they're like, Harden with a great screen here. I'm like, yeah. Just running into a guy and pushing him out of bounds, that. I don't know if you can really call that a screen. Maybe it is legal. Maybe I'm just dumb. But regardless,
I'm not sure how the rule works.
Of if it is or isn't, I feel again just watching that it's just stupid if it is legal. But very bad game for the Knicks. I'm looking at the stats here. Julius shot 4 for 13. RJ, 24 points, but a 9 for 22. I don't really care at this point. I just want him to get his stats up. Fournier shot 6 of 11 for 3. He played solid. But then you have Mitchell Robinson fouling out. Jericho Sims fouling out. It's just unbelievable. Quickly had a solid game. Didn't shoot the most efficient, but with the stinky product he's been putting out the last 2 months, I'll take even a decent performance out of him. But I just want to give up on the season at this point. I'm not saying rest anyone. I'm just saying play the young guys more. I like that we're playing Sims more. I like that we saw Deuce McBride minutes recently. Just keep playing those guys. Just see what they can do. And then you know what? If it doesn't work out, you have draft picks to replace them next year, and you probably won't have cap. But if you make trades, which I hope they would, then you will have cap.
So there's your New York. Let's go to another city.
L.A. We want to talk about the Lakers right now?
Yeah. Who said it? You're not going to like it. It's Colin Cowherd who said it, but he's right. The Lakers have hit rock bottom.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And I'm like, Colin Cowherd, actually great take.
Yeah. No, I mean, I've never really been I never really was a huge fan of Colin Cowherd, but after hearing him say that a couple years ago, Carson Wentz was like the second best quarterback in the NFL.
Okay, I don't get as mad about that one. It's stupid looking back on it now, but like that was the year.
He did have an MVP
that was the year after he should have won MVP if he didn't get hurt.
Yeah.
And like,
but like, and then my favorite one is when he called Klay Thompson Dwayne Wade, but 3 inches taller and a better shooter. Like, I can't think of two more completely different players. But yeah, I mean. It's just, I don't know what they're doing anymore. Like, did you see the DeAndre Jordan pass? He, like, got a rebound and was dribbling the ball down and then just chucked it, like, all the way out of bounds, like, past the other basket. Like, why is he even getting minutes at this point? Like, why not sign someone? Like, like Drew Eubanks was a free agent. I'd rather have him than DeAndre Jordan. Yeah, he's not probably, from what I've seen, what I feel like he's not a very good defender, but, like, he's definitely going to be better than DeAndre Jordan. But, I mean, obviously AD being out isn't helping. Russell Westbrook, at one point during the game, had 0 assists to 7 turnovers. That's just unacceptable. I just don't know. I don't know what they can do. LeBron dropped 32. I don't know if it was the most efficient. I didn't happen to check his stats exactly, but I think he also had, like, 7 turnovers at one point. But, again, they're in the same boat. Like, you're going to get swept in the first round no matter what team you play at this point, unless AD comes back healthy and Westbrook snaps out of it, which is neither of which will probably happen. So at that point, I don't even know if they have a pick. I don't think they have a pick this year. I'm not entirely sure. But
that poor team.
Yeah, I mean, what a failure of a team. I don't even know if they're in the play-in right now. If they are, they're the last spot.
Who knows? We could talk on and on about this team. They're just, it just was an idea. It didn't work.
Yeah.
And now here we are.
It just, like I always say on the show, fit over talent. Because right there, if you trade Kuzma, or even just keep Kuzma, keep keep Harrell, keep KCP, you're a better team than you are right now. You have the spacing you need. You have more, I don't really like to say consistent with Kuzma or KCP, but they're probably more consistent than the guys they have right now. And then not to mention Montrezl Harrell, who's not very good on defense, but he's a great rebounder and a solid inside scorer.
Mm-hmm.
Regardless, they're better than what they have right now. And that is, I don't think there are many doubts behind that, especially the way Kuzma's been playing recently, which has been absolutely ridiculous. But, yeah, I just don't know what the team can do. They got 30-piece by New Orleans last night. CJ McCollum has been playing tremendous since the trade. At this point, I don't know when Zion's coming back. If he's coming back this season at this point with 20 games left, I doubt it because
they're completely out.
There's they're fighting.
They are.
They're fighting for a playing spot right now. But yeah, I mean at this point it's not really worth bringing him in to risk him getting hurt again. So there's a very good chance that he's just not coming back.
Great.
But yeah, I don't know.
Next game, Warriors and Mavericks.
I watched the first half in like 10 minutes of the third quarter. And then I turned it off because it was a 20-point game. And I thought, they're not coming back. Little did I know, they would come back. I don't know the exact score, but I believe at one point, the Mavericks went on a 26-3 run in the fourth quarter. They ended up outscoring the Warriors 33-13.
Unreal.
Curry has not been very good recently. I don't know what his issue is. Maybe it's a lack of Draymond, but at this point, like, I'm all for how valuable Draymond is. I know how valuable he is. I know what he provides to that team, but if you need Draymond that badly, then he needs to be in like more discussions about how valuable he truly is. If he's that big of a difference maker for Curry, then
it's just I think like as weird as it sounds, like Clay and Curry aren't doing much on the pick and roll because you don't have much of a pick. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, that's probably what it is.
Like I remember that first half of the season, like I was watching all the games before Curry broke the rec. And, like, it was just Draymond screen.
Draymond pick and roll at the top of the key.
Yeah, but Curry runs in, turns around, which makes it three. Exactly.
That's what it is. And that they don't have someone like that. I mean,
Clay is not that big.
No, their best big man right now is probably, like, Kevon Looney or Nemanja Bjelica.
Wiseman's coming back, though.
Yeah, I mean, even then, he hasn't been that great recently. I don't know what his issue is at this point. I think I'm still giving him time to pan out.
Yeah, he's only played one season, and he hasn't played at all this year. I don't believe.
I still have faith in him. I was never I was never as high on him as I was on other prospects and how other people were on him. But Spencer Dinwiddie, who I made fun of the trade when it happened, but he played very solid. He helped. I think he had like 24 points on, I think, 11 to 14 from the field. He played a very solid game. But yeah, I
wonder if that's who Luka wanted.
No, he actually. I was looking on ESPN before the show started. He said that he did not expect a Kristaps trade. He said he was very shocked by it.
Okay, I was about to say because.
Yeah, the fit still doesn't make sense. I'm not saying I'd necessarily rather have Kristaps because if Dinwiddie keeps playing this, which I doubt he will, it'll probably pan out better than Kristaps, but still, too many guards on that team.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I mean, it was very, very interesting night. I'm going to take a look at some of the other games real quick before we move on to college basketball. The Clippers beat the Rockets by 1. Was there like a game winner or no?
I don't know. Not confident.
No, it doesn't look like it.
I don't think there was too many big games last night besides those.
Reggie Jackson at 26. Jalen Green shot 4 of 18.
Jalen Green has really, really fallen off.
Yeah, I mean, he's had a couple good moments, but I'm not going to judge him too quickly because he's a rookie. Was that JaMychal Green? Oh, wow. So I'm looking at this game right here, the Nuggets and Blazers. I heard about this game last night because Jokic only took how many shots? He only took 5 shots at 8 points, 18 rebounds, 11 assists, and they won by 28, I believe that is.
18 rebounds? That's a good day at the office.
Here's some of their guys off the bench. JaMychal Green had 20 points and 10 rebounds. DeMarcus Cousins had 19 points, 8 rebounds, 6 assists. Bryn Forbes had 17 points, 5 of 6 from 3. Like, they have no Murray or MPJ. Yeah, they played the Trailblazers, whose leading scorer was Anthony Simons, as it has been. He wasn't even that efficient. But, I mean, yeah. Shout out the Nuggets if they keep this up and they get Murray.
I was about to say Jamal Murray's on track for the playoffs.
I was going to say I read something before that they're ramping up for the playoffs. If they get them back, they could be a very deadly team. I've always been very high on this squad, especially with teams like the Lakers, maybe even not even making the playoffs. They could potentially, if Jamal and MPJ come back fully healthy and they play to their potential, they could make a deep run. I don't know.
It's the Suns and the Warriors that are the ones to watch out for still.
Yeah, and the Grizzlies. Grizzlies are like the 3 seed, I think, if not 2 at this point.
That's a really good conference.
Yeah, they're very top-heavy conference for sure. But I mean, shout out to the Grizzlies. I thought they'd be like maybe 6 through like 10 seed.
I thought they were going to be overplaying, but yeah, I agree.
But yeah, I mean, to be the 3 seed, to be playing this well, even with John Morant missing games, Jaren Jackson missing games, he like missed a ton of games to start the season and is already leading the league in blocks. He's been absolutely ridiculous on defense. I've loved him. I'm a Michigan State fan, so I've always been a big Jaren Jackson fan. Very high on him coming out of college. His offense has been iffy at times. He struggles to be consistent a lot, but his defense has been so tremendous to the point where it really doesn't matter. It's to the point where if he can just score 15, 20 points on whatever efficiency, it doesn't really matter. He's just providing much needed defense for that team that they were kind of missing last season. But in other news, Markelle Fultz, I believe, is set to come back today after tearing his ACL last season, which is it's not surprising that he's back, but it's very surprising that he's back and Jonathan Isaac isn't, because this is the second season in a row that Jonathan Isaac is missing, because he missed last year after tearing both his ACL and MCL in the bubble. Very terrible injury. I've always been a John Isaac fan since college. His off the court things annoy me a lot because he's definitely has said some interesting things, to say the least. But on the court, he's one of the best defensive players in the NBA when healthy. I truly believe that if he can maintain health once he comes back, he will be one of the best defensive players the NBA has ever seen. I truly believe that. His height, his wingspan, his ability to guard all over the floor is something not always seen, is what I'll say. And if you can just figure out his offense, he wasn't terrible offensively, but he also wasn't very good. If he can figure that out, he'll be a very, very, very good player in the future. He just, again, got to stay healthy. He's had a lot of health issues since he's entered the league. The good thing about his leg, though, is that he was an athletic player, but like he's so tall and lanky to the point where like he doesn't need to have like an insane vertical. So hopefully he'll come back and healthy. I don't know if we'll be seeing him this season, but if we can get him next season, that would be very nice. I like the Magic a lot. I like their prospects, I like their young guys, Wendell, Jalen Suggs, Cole Anthony. I'm big fans of those guys, and if they can just keep this core together that they have, they could be pushing a play-in in the next couple of years. It really just depends on the progression of Jalen Suggs. Even smaller guys like R.J. Hampton, if someone like him can become a solid role player, he'll definitely help the team a lot. But the number one thing they need right now is Wendell, Markelle, Suggs, and Isaac to be healthy and to play well. If they develop well, that four alone will be enough to help push them towards a play-in spot within the next couple of years, let alone someone like Cole Anthony, who's probably the best, if not second best player on the team right now. He's kind of been struggling recently since he came back from injury, but at that point, it's whatever. They're obviously not trying to win many games. But, I think that's all I have in the NBA.
Yeah, we'll move on quickly to college basketball. There was another crazy weekend there.
Yeah,
first time ever in college basketball history that all 6 teams in the top six lost in one day.
I'll go over some. This isn't going to be in order. I'm just going off what's on ESPN. The top, we have Purdue, number 4 Purdue losing to Michigan State, which blows my mind because we have been very bad. I don't know how many we've lost in a row, but we've lost to some very bad teams. We even fell out of the rankings. They were unranked and beat the number 4 team after a Tyson Walker game-winning 3. I was not able to watch that game because I didn't even know they were playing that day. So
nice.
Yeah, it was nice to see them win. And then we have number 6 Kentucky losing to Arkansas 75-73. I'm not sure if there's necessarily a game winner in this, but I wanted to say this guy's name, but I don't know if I can pronounce it. For Kentucky, though, Oscar Tshiebwe had a nice 30 game, along with J.D. Notte for, I'm very bad with names, by the way, for Arkansas, also having a nice little 30 bomb. But in other games, we had number 17 Tennessee taking down number 3 Auburn 67-62. Where are the other games here? This one shocked me. Unranked Colorado beating number 2 Arizona 79-63. I was keeping an eye on that during the hockey game because I was like, wow, they're close. And then I kind of looked away for a while because it was when they were starting to make the comeback. And, it really turned around quick.
And then it just kept going.
Yeah. But, and then the other game, another very surprising one, we have number 1 Gonzaga losing to number 23 St. Mary's.
Yeah, that's how I was texting you.
57-67.
What's going on? So we'll go over the rankings quickly and then we'll move on. Number 1 Gonzaga.
Yeah.
I mean, they're 24-3, so.
Yeah. And
they play hard teams. Number 2 Arizona, that makes sense. Those teams didn't move at all. Then Baylor jumped up 7 spots to the number 3 spot, and then Duke jumped up 3 spots to the number 4 spot. Auburn fell down to 5. Kansas fell down to 6. Kentucky fell down to 7. Purdue fell down to 8. And now it's Wisconsin's at 10. Villanova's at 11.
Did Michigan State move back into the rankings or no?
No.
Yeah, that's not surprising.
And I don't even think they got a vote. Oh, no, they got 6 votes. I'm sorry.
Nah, it's not.
UCLA all the way down to 17.
Wow.
So, yeah, we'll keep an eye on that with March Madness coming up quick.
Yeah.
It's March. This is when sports get really interesting again because hockey playoffs are the push for hockey playoffs start, push for basketball playoffs.
20 games out from
exactly, and then March
playoffs.
Madness. The end of March is one of my favorite times of the year because of this stuff.
That was a good time.
Last thing I have is the Kyler Murray stuff.
You have any updates on that? Because I don't.
Did you see it?
I saw that they came out with a statement.
His agent came out with a statement. I'm just gonna read the bold. Here. It's a huge it's essentially an essay, but there's a couple bold spots in it. And I guess this is where I understand Kyler Murray's frustration, but I wish he had come out with this months ago. Basically, he said he wants to be the long-term quarterback for the Cardinals, and he wants to win the Super Bowl. Okay, cool. And they basically were he said that he wanted a contract extension and that actions speak louder than words. Okay, no offense, Kyler Murray, but you were, 3 seasons in the NFL?
Yeah, 3. Well, he's going into his 4th.
Yeah, so, what have you proved besides this season?
He's been
good.
Yeah, he's been good.
He's had great targets,
though.
He's
been very good, but it's just the way he played in the playoffs this year was not very good. And
exactly. And then you're coming out here and acting like you're like God. You're acting like you're Tom Brady or Mahomes.
I mean, I think he's definitely a top quarterback in the league.
Yeah, he's definitely top 10.
Very good, but I just wait.
Yeah.
Wait. You still have your fifth-year option, which the Giants declined Daniel Jones. Not very surprised, in my opinion. It's a very right move. I'll get onto that after this. But I don't know. I mean, it's just right now, if I'm the Cardinals, I hold off on it for a year or two because you need the cap space to re-sign players. Like I know Chandler Jones is a free agent. I don't know how much longer Budda Baker is on contract for. They need to bring these guys back as opposed to putting all their money towards one player. Obviously, it's the most important position in football, but I don't know. Right now, I'd hold off. Let him play this year, and then you extend him after.
That's what I'm saying. What's he going to do? Leave?
Yeah.
Or demand a trade? They're not going to trade him. Yeah. No offense. No, sorry, Kyler, but you're not getting traded if you demand a trade.
Yeah.
I agree. See what his value does, because I mean his value is still really high. So.
Yeah, absolutely. But with what I was saying with Daniel Jones is, the Giants decided to decline his fifth-year option. I agree because it's worth like $20 million, and he's obviously not worth that right now.
Yeah, he's not a $20 million quarterback.
And it's a good. Not only is it a good idea because if he comes out, this is obviously his last opportunity. That with the fifth-year option being declined, making it very clear that this is his last chance.
Yep.
If he comes out and he doesn't play well, you have no connections to him. You don't have to re-sign him. You don't have to deal with that money going into his fifth year. You can just let him go and then draft or sign someone.
He could put up an MVP season, and man, getting over $20 million would be hard because of how crappy he's played.
Right now, it's just he just needs consistency around him. He's played with an injured team, terrible coaches. Yeah, some of his errors have been his own fault, but there have been far too many moments in which they haven't, and to the point where it almost outlies his bad parts. Statistically, he obviously has not improved, but if you watch the games and you watch him play, it's very hard to say that he has not become a way better quarterback than he was his rookie year. It just happens to be the fact that he's improved his game, but everything around him has fallen apart. His offensive line is not what it used to be. His receiving core somehow has fallen off. His coaching staff has been terrible. They just need a coach, hopefully Brian Daboll can do that, who allocates his resources towards what Daniel Jones can do, and apparently that's what he's doing, as according to Daniel Jones, Daboll reached out to him and asked for input on the on what he wants to do in the playbook, which, in my opinion, needs to be throw the ball deep. The season before this, Daniel Jones was, I believe, quite literally the highest-rated deep ball passer in the entire NFL. Why did we not go deep at all this year? I truly don't know. You have the receivers like Slayton, like Tony, like Galladay, these guys that are either going to outrun or jump up and grab a 50-50 ball. You need to attack on that aspect more as opposed to just running 4-yard hitch and draw plays every other down. It's just we need improvement from everywhere. Coaching staff, players, organization, we need improvement. And right now I'm liking what I'm seeing. But when the season rolls around in September, that could all fall apart very quick. We'll have to see.
So, I have one more thing. Do you have anything else?
No, I'm good.
All right, I have one more thing. Colin Cowherd's trade idea.
Oh, no.
Miami Heat receive LeBron James.
Oh.
Lakers receive Tyler Hero, Kyle Lowry, Duncan Robinson, 3 first-round picks.
What? Go over that again. You said
Hero. Yep. Lowry.
Oh my God.
Robinson.
Oh.
3 first-round picks.
Dude, I wouldn't do that if you threw Bam in instead of Duncan Robinson. Or no.
You wouldn't do that if you were the Lakers, or wouldn't do that if you were the Heat?
If you're the Lakers, because you don't need those players compared to how badly you need LeBron. They don't have a roster that's built to trade unless you're trading everyone. If you want to trade AD and then trade Westbrook, go ahead.
Yeah, where's Westbrook at value?
But like right now, I believe LeBron's going to leave. I don't care what he says. I believe if this team doesn't improve and they don't get rid of Westbrook next season, AD doesn't get healthy, he's out of there. Whether he
won his ring.
Whether he's going to go play the Sun or whether he's going to go back to Cleveland, because he apparently said that the door isn't closed on that. I wouldn't mind that. I wouldn't mind him going back to Cleveland for his last year in the league. But right now, they just need to figure out what the team is going to be, what is going on with the team, and go from there.
Yeah, the Lakers being bad does not help.
No,
we'll put it that way at all. It makes this a lot more complicated.
LeBron needs to make a decision on if he's
because he would stay if they were good.
Oh, of course.
It'd be a be for sure. So
when everything around you is terrible, why would you want to stay?
Exactly, and if you're still that good and you're on your waning years of your career.
You're 37 years old. I almost said you're 37, and you're still one of, if not the best player. Well, I wouldn't say if not, because it's pretty clearly one of them be Jokic or Giannis right now. But if you're one of the best players in the league
top
right
5.
now, and at age 37, then it's not on you.
Yeah, I agree. So a little bit of a shorter show today, but we got a lot of.
We've been out running around the last basically all day.
Yeah, we've had a lot of stuff going on. So we'll see you Wednesday. We'll have a more solidified episode.
Absolutely.
Thank you for listening and putting up with this.
Very roughly made show today.
Yeah, but we definitely made it work for sure. So, like I said, thanks for tuning in. Have a blessed evening.
Have a blessed night.
And we'll see you on Wednesday. Yep. See you then.